face. Leather, steel, and fire, the open roads are thrown. By your life, televised, we're breaking every bone. Adrenaline surges, brace on the fall. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing me. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. With HardWire, the crowd screams on hate. Chasing down the shadows, we're addicted to the fade. Chains rattling loud, the brotherhood's alive. Every episode turn up, we're here to survive. From dusk till dawn, we're the kings of this brew. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing me. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. On the edge of chaos, we embrace the feel. Hitting it with HardWire. We'll always be here.
Welcome to Hittin It with HardWire. I'm here. I made it. Like, I literally just walked in the door 10 minutes ago. But I made it. And I'm tired as hell. How's everybody doing? Oh, I see Doc's in here. Hey, Doc. What's up, Doc? Steve. See, Code's in here. Evil Rick. Straight Jacket. Hey, the gang's all here. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. Oh, what a weekend. See, the adventure was supposed to start Friday. Supposed to leave out to Pennsylvania Friday. And, yeah, that didn't work out. They ended up having a meeting and wanted everybody to wait till Saturday to leave. Excuse me. Wanted everybody to wait till Saturday to leave. Then I get a phone call at 11 o'clock saying 2 of our guys ran into deer. Like, they was riding side by side. One hit a deer, then the other hit a deer. Like, they had sprint. It was apparently a buck chasing a doe. And I guess they hit him doing a cool hundo, from what I understand. Sometimes it's better to wackadoo them going fast, I guess. But both of the guys are fine. Well, if you'd have seen the one bike, apparently, you would have thought he'd had to have been dead, but from what I understand, but that guy's apparently just got a broken collarbone. I'm not sure which side. And the other guy's scraped up a little bit, doing all right, from what I understand. Both the bikes are messed up. The one is totaled for sure. Then of all things, whenever we was leaving today, and we almost hit a deer too, leaving Pennsylvania there. Almost, but I seen him just in time. That's all right, Mike. I hope you're cooking something good. I'm starving. send me something through the camera. Send me something delicious. Because anybody that's been in a club, for any of you that have been in a club or go to club functions, you know that club food is not always the best. It's kind of mass-produced food. This time it wasn't too bad. They had a decent spread. I mean, it was okay. Oh, I didn't get a good cup of coffee this morning either. We stopped at a small diner and what's the name of the town? I think it was Middletown. Small town. It's a smaller town in Pennsylvania. Shout out to that nice little diner. It was good. It was Cuddy's or something like that. Cuddy's Diner. Their food was pretty good. It's a nice little diner, home diner experience where they got the bar and cooked the food right there in front of you on the little grill and stuff. It was good. I had 2 eggs over easy, bacon, and home fries with peppers and onions in it. That's always my favorite. That's my go-to for breakfast. They had these giant cinnamon rolls on special, and I bet you they was about as big around as my head. They was ginormous. My old lady wanted one, but we didn't have time. I had to get back on the road, and like I said, I literally just pulled in. I haven't even unloaded the truck yet. And it was almost a 6-hour drive. But I got to consume some booze last night and hang out with some good brothers. We were the only ones camping. There was a couple people that camped Friday to Saturday, but almost everybody left after the party. So it was just me and a brother that went there with me. But we sat around and drank a few beers, and when we went to bed, I bought one of them little Buddy heaters. I forget who makes it. I think maybe it's Mr. Heater, but they're little Buddy propane heaters. I had no idea how good this thing was going to work. It was pretty chilly. Turned it on low to try to get it to last most of the night, and I'll tell you what, when it went off, I knew it went off. It went out, and I started getting cold. But I'll tell you what, I kept it on low most of the night, and yeah, it was warm enough. It kept that tent warm enough to be pretty comfortable. No code. We were down towards Lancaster way. And yeah. Unfortunately, everything ended up being a rush, so it wasn't I was planning on going Friday, having time to hang out, maybe try to go out and go see Code, come back, camp for the party Saturday, and then stay till Sunday, maybe take my time coming home, but did not work out as planned. Does anything ever when it comes to working, being in a club, almost nothing goes as planned. My chest hurts from smoking cigarettes. I've tried to give up cigarettes and mostly vape, but there's just something about sitting around bullshitting with your friends that just makes me want to, chain smoke. Halfway home, we got caught in a pouring down rain. I mean, just pouring down rain. I mean, it looked like the raindrops were the size of baseballs, but yeah, to where we had to slow down. Tell you what, on the way there, there was a recently hit deer. I seen some people slowing down. I seen a car off to the side of the road, and you see where the whole hood of the car was peeled up like a can. And this pickup truck in front of me, I was like, "Hey, buddy, get over, dude, get over, man! What the hell?" And he just plowed right over that deer. I was like, "Holy moly!" Yeah, that's a good way to mess your suspension up real quick. Yeah, sometimes the best things just happen, but when you're pressed for time sometimes and you don't get the time to enjoy it, that's when it irritates me when it's kind of go there, do your thing, got to head back. I was like, I really want to go Friday, have a chance to chill, drink some beers, get up, enjoy the party, go back to the tent and drink some more and hang out and BS with the brothers, and leave Sunday, not have to get in any hurry. This doesn't work out that way. Sometimes, it's not necessarily always a bad thing, but in this particular circumstance, I had it planned out for quite a while, and they tried to change everything at the last minute. Yeah, I sent Mikey a picture down there. He's not allowed to share it with anybody though, and he said he wouldn't. So, but it's a cool little place we got down there. The club owns it. We can go camping down there anytime we want, as long as I let them know in advance. I call down there and let them know. So next summer for sure, I'm going to plan a trip down there over a weekend, or maybe even 4 days. Go down there. Instead of having to get a hotel, I'll be able to come back and camp there. And I can go over and hang out with Code for a little while. And go around, check out the area a little bit more. Every time I'm down that way, I don't get a chance to. Yeah, that was not a good weekend with people hitting deer and everything else. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was told the one bike that was totaled only had liability, which is going to be a bad deal. Yeah, the club's weird with their policy towards drinking. You know, I know some people in the club that will sit there and like smoke weed nonstop. And this has been with several clubs. That's kind of the same way with several clubs I've been in. They have a weird way they treat the 420. They'll sit there and smoke it. Some people sit there and smoke it and smoke it and smoke it and smoke it. But the second that you drink a couple of drinks, all of a sudden they're on you. Oh, you're not really supposed to be drinking. You're not supposed to, you know, and it drives me nuts, dude, because what's the difference? To me, it's the same thing. If somebody wants to sit there and have a couple of drinks or even hit a joint, that's fine. But it's the same thing. Don't treat one any different than the other. Or don't let some people sit there and keep hitting a joint, hitting a joint, and hitting a joint all day and get on their bikes and ride, just like you wouldn't let them drink too much and ride. You got one person that likes to fall asleep while he's riding. It drives me nuts. I don't know how anybody does that. You'd have to be really high to do that, I think. Hey, Straight, did you see we was on the Crucible show there. I didn't know if you seen it or not. I didn't see that you was still in the chat there whenever I sent him some money and made sure he plugged a little advertisement for us. He said to DM him our channel so he could check them out, but I don't know how to do that on anything. I can, like Facebook, I can do it, but I don't know it, Instagram or I can I can instant message people on Instagram, but I don't think YouTube doesn't have a way to message somebody. I don't think. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. Gunpowder is. Some people can't really drink without getting a little too rowdy. But that's the thing, I understand they some people don't though. Me, I'm a goofy drunk. You get me drunk and I'm cracking jokes, being goofy, doing some dumbass shit, and I'm a goofy drunk for the most part. Don't get me wrong though. My buttons that are normally, oh, I don't know, this big and hard to hit to piss me off get bigger, and then it's a little bit easier to piss me off if somebody rubs me the wrong way. But for the most part, I'm the most chill, laid back person when I'm drinking. I don't ain't too much that makes me mad. I'm pretty laid back. If somebody gets a reputation for getting a little stupid when they drink, then okay, well, we know who that is. We'll just make sure that guy ain't allowed to drink at no parties, or when we're out in public. And there's, there's an asshole in every bunch. Somebody fucked around and found out there a couple weekends ago. There's another place we're not allowed in now. But he was arguing with his girlfriend, hit his girlfriend, and out in the parking lot. One guys wasn't having it, man. He went over and laid him out cold. I was pretty all right. It was a just cause. But they don't come up with that saying "fuck around and find out" for nothing, man. FAFO. And I don't know why. I seen a really cool shirt there. You know how events they always have gear and shirts and everything else. And when you're in a club, you like to get cool stuff that is your club stuff. And they had a really cool shirt there. It's a work shirt, but all the patches are stitched in and embroidered. $300, man. I can't believe I spent $300. I couldn't even take it with me. I had to order it. I can't believe I spent $300 on a shirt. But I'm buying all the ones with the vinyl on it. You can only get so many washes out of them. And this is all embroidered, custom stitched. It's got the patch on the back. That'll last pretty much as long as the shirt will last. Did I miss something? Was you just having a conversation before the show went on? Because I literally just walked in, threw the headset on, started going because I just literally just walked in the door. I said, "Hey, I got time to catch the show." Remember last week I did say there's a chance that I might not be home on time, and it just so happens I made it home just in time, and I made sure to come in here and jump on, so I wasn't late, but I didn't see whatever this conversation is talking about. Somebody fill me in. Let me see. Whoop, whoop. Oh, there's your copy. Close. Straight Jacket, are you near your studio? You want to hop on, bud? I'll send you the link. Straight Mike, anybody that wants to join in. A little short on material because of no time. I've been gone all weekend. But I finally got my truck fixed, or something wrong with my truck. I thought it was a wheel bearing. And guess what it turned out to be? One of my calipers was stuck. I said, well, at least my gas mileage should improve now that I ain't driving with one brake on, or one of my brakes locked up almost. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to key up that, if I could find it. I could find the, you have to bear with me. I'm going to look for it real quick. There was something I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit there. I sent it to Mike. Well, yeah, it might take me a little too long to find it. I'm used to looking for things on my phone, and the computer thing is so much different. Versions of these, like Twitter and Instagram. I still haven't figured out how to make my show go on Instagram. It said you had to sign up for the commercial account or whatever, and I signed up for it. And then every time I go to put that I want to schedule a stream, it just always says, instead of giving me the link like it's supposed to put in here, it tells me this isn't available for me yet. So I don't know why it does that. What you eating, Mike? Anything good? Don't tell me you're eating some ramen. That's like the meal of choice for bachelors. I don't knock ramen too much. I eat it once in a while. It's just extremely bad for you. Oh, we have a special guest. See if I can figure out how to do this here. Howdy, Doc.
What's up, my brother, man? So you put the link out there. No one's jumping in, so I said, jump in and help them out. Hey, from one douche fluter to another.
Yeah. I still been smoking the cigarettes, even though I actually quit for 2 whole years straight without a single cigarette. And then my wife, she smokes. Then it got me to smoking 2 a day. Well, I'd smoke one on the way to work and one on the way home. That's all I'd smoke is 2 a day. But whenever you're standing around BSing with everybody,
Yeah.
drinking a beer, it's hard not to, man. I went through a pack over the weekend, and
I transitioned from cigarettes to vape in 2016 in Afghanistan. I figured if I don't pick up another cigarette in Afghanistan, there ain't no reason for me to have another cigarette in the States.
right on. I know over in Europe,
Irish coffee.
supposedly, they really embrace it. Over in America, ever since that deal where the THC was, they put that vitamin E oil and made a bunch of people sick, and it gave it a bad stigma. In the United States, they just don't want to let people vape.
No, because it's, it is what it is. This country's so tight about everything.
You go any place interesting this weekend?
No, last weekend I was in Tennessee for the Smoky Mountain Bike Week.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the video on that, but
That's coming tonight. The video's coming out tonight at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. So I believe that'd be 6:15 your time.
cool. I will give me something to do later on this evening.
Yep. I also put out a quick video today on a product review update of some inexpensive bag guards, and there's a reason why they're inexpensive.
Well, inexpensive because they're cheap.
Because they crushed the rear brake line, and we lost all rear brakes.
Oh, damn. And that's put on the way they're supposed to be put on?
Absolutely.
Wow. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen for somebody. How's that?
Yep. That's why I wanted to get a video out quick. So if anybody bought them, I have a fix for that. So if somebody has them and haven't crushed their brake line yet, they can do a quick fix, which is basically loosen up the banjo bolt on the rear brake caliper. You move your brake line in towards your wheel a little bit just to give it the clearance.
Right on.
But I contacted Santoro, which is, a more expensive, better quality brand, to replace the ones that we have.
Yeah, I've got a few more upgrades I want to do to mine, but like say mine's an 08, and I just I can't get myself to upgrade to a newer one. I think eventually I'll save up a down payment and do it, but they won't give me enough money for mine to make it worth my while to trade mine in.
No, they never do. They never do. Because remember, when you trade your bike in, they're going to talk down about all the upgrades you did, how it's going to hurt the value of the bike and all that. But if you went to buy that bike, but there's bars on it, it's got exhaust on it, it's the best out there, and then they bump the price up. It's all about making money.
I understand to a degree that they're like a pawn shop. A lot of people go into a pawn shop and want what they could sell it to somebody for, and they can't do that because they got to make money. That's where my daughter works, at a pawn shop for the last couple of years, and people got to understand that. And I told the dude that was trying to take my bike as a trade-in, I understand you got to make money off of it, but holy moly, I said I got every bit of probably $3 or $4 grand in the stereo alone, and he only wanted to give me $6 grand as a trade-in. I said, tell you what, man, I might consider that, but you got to let me take it home for a couple of days and strip all the stuff I put on it off.
Oh, no. That'll affect the trade-in value.
Yeah, then they don't want to do it.
I mean, I have a client today that worked up a rough bill on a 99 Dyna. $3,500 in parts and labor just to get it straightened out.
I seen Code tried to jump in there for a minute. Have you met Code before?
I've only seen him in the side chats. We've never been on screen together.
He tried to jump in, but he took off already.
That elusive Mike Ball,
He's too busy stuffing his face, I guess.
Yeah, so he's going to be making brisket or something soon. Couldn't make it when you were down there, right?
I stopped at that a nice little one of them little hometown diners there at in Pennsylvania on the way home. Those are nice. The little sit down bar type of thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice. Good eggs and bacon. Hell, most places will give you 2 slices. They threw me like 5 slices of bacon. I was like, damn, all right.
You're a PA, man. You got to get Scrapple.
Oh, Scrapple. Yeah, I had a girlfriend that was from Philadelphia. And the funny thing is yeah, the city I live in was very similar to the name of the city she lived in. And I thought it was hilarious, but yeah,
Yep.
she moved here and she convinced me to try it. And
Yep. Yep.
yeah, it's a unique substance.
Yes.
It puts you in mind of spam, but not quite.
Yep. 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 It's got to eat it, but it's good though.
It's good if it's cooked right, and you eat it with the right thing. I wouldn't know if I prefer to eat it by itself. It had a funny aftertaste. I don't know. She
I
said it
mix
might.
the scrapple in with eggs or sausage gravy.
She said it might have been because we bought it while we was down in Pennsylvania, and it might not have been all that fresh by the time we got back to Ohio.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it was all right. Come on,
Yeah,
Mike,
right on.
hop in. Did you lose the link?
Might well repost it because once it'll won't show anymore if you scroll up. I noticed that, but it's still there if I scrolled up because I still have it running on my other screen. This way, you get the watch time hours.
Yeah, I literally just walked in the door. Not even 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. I ran in the door and made some coffee and ran upstairs. And I mean, I gotta get time to get in the shower. Camping, you don't get a shower.
Yeah, brother Dean Benedetti's in the house.
What's up, Dean? Good to see you.
Yeah, hanging out with Jay from Left Lane Syndicate again over in Tennessee, and Jeff Holt from V-Twin Visionary is hanging out with him for a little while.
I've yet had a chance though. I drove through the mountains there in Tennessee whenever I was on my way back from Florida, and I had the bike on the back of the pickup truck, and that's all I kept doing is thinking, man, this would be a nice ride going up through them mountains. I was like, dude, this would be sweet. And I really want to get
West
back down
Virginia is awesome. But if you ever go to Smoky Mountain Bike Week, you're literally less than 45 minutes away from the tail of the dragon, the back of the dragon, Cherry Highway, Devil's Triangle. So much great riding out there.
I've yet to ride the tail of the dragon, but everybody, there's several people I know that went out there and said it's not all it's cracked up to be.
It's very well publicized and marketed well. It's an overcrowded road, but all the other roads that are around there, like Cherry Highway, Devil's Triangle, the back of the Dragon, those are much better roads. Or in West Virginia, there's so many other much better roads like the Talon in West Virginia. That's a great road to ride. Mr. Bacuccio in the house.
Where in the hell was the invite? Oh, there it is. Hobby.
You want these? I can't read without them these days. I'm getting old.
I started wearing contacts about a year and a half ago. And I tell you what, I didn't know if I'd like contacts. And I said, I'm probably just going to wear them whenever I wear my helmet because I can't get my glasses under my helmet.
Yep.
And now I wear them all the time. I actually don't even take them out very often. I need
to wear. I just need these for reading. Yeah, I don't need to read the speedometer.
Although my doctor did tell me it ain't gonna be too much longer. I'm gonna need old man bifocals. I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Getting old sucks.
Well, these are progressive, so they're worse than bifocals.
Have you ever used or attempted to use the Rabaconda tire changer?
Nope.
I have one, and I got into a fight with a back tire and twisted the damn thing all up the other day.
Oh, wow.
It's whenever I did my tires and my lady's tires, that was a little stiff, but not too bad. I got them on. It's got a ratcheting center piece that holds the tire duck
Yep.
that goes up in, and it ratchets around the tire,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a long piece for leverage. But his tire was bald, and I could not get that damn thing. I wrestled with it and wrestled with it. I put everything I had into it, and I could not get that thing. And eventually, I started bending the damn. It's a steel tubing with a post that goes through the center that you screw in for the tire to go down through. And it actually started bending that post and twisting the tubular steel. I'm hoping I can straighten it back out, or send a picture to Rabaconda saying, "Hey man, a really stiff tire will bend the crap out of your machine. Maybe they'll send me another one."
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah,
it says no, we won't. It says, all right, no worries. I'll do a product review on it.
and that was last weekend, and I tell you what, I must have pulled every muscle in my back because it's still hurting a week later.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old for that kind of stuff.
Last night I got the motor and trans in the chopper, so we're actually making some major headway. Got two major components in there. Took off the fuel injection throttle body and intake, and put on a S&S intake manifold because we're going carbureted, no fuel injection.
Right on.
You got to have a proper chopper, man. It's got to be carbureted with a Springer front end.
Right.
Rigid back end.
Only things I got left to do to mine's I'm going to try. Mine's got 40,000 miles on it, so I didn't want to put new cams in it with that 40,000 miles. So I decided I think I'm going to do like the 110 kit, or if I can find it cheaper, they have a 107 kit. One of the two, since it kind of redoes the upper end of the motor, and then I might go with either a 525 or a 543 cam.
Yep.
These newer bikes are just leaving me in the dust, man. From light to light, I'm getting irritated with it.
Well, that's why you need it. That's why you need Spaceball. You'll leave everybody in the dust, just about.
Yeah, I need something. I need to do something. Well, it probably help if I lose about 100 pounds too.
That's just sprung weight. Doesn't matter.
Right. And my back hurting as bad as it has been. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a better pair of shocks and a good seat. I think that'll prolong my.
What kind of bike do you have?
An 08 Ultra Classic.
Good set of shocks. May I suggest Suspension Technologies? Reach out to Roland Throttle. Tell him I sent you. He'll take good care of you.
Cool. I will do that. And I'm not sure about seats. I heard there's some gel seats out there that really is helpful in the spine.
Yep. As a matter of fact, he was a member of an organization you're very familiar with.
Right. Gotcha.
So, reach out to Roland Throttle. It's a new business he started. He had a booth set up at Smoky Mountain Bike Week, and he was doing Sawiki Speed exhaust installs. Sawiki Speed was there at the last weekend. I got to hang out with those guys and doing Suspension Technology suspension installs. I tell you, I've had every flavor of Legend, and I put these shocks on my bike, and world's better.
Yeah, a lot of my back issues, unfortunately, is rather a lot of people have lower back problems, and for some reason, I was in an accident years ago, and it might be from the result of that. Mine's right in between my shoulder blades, and they said because of your ribs, that area is pretty reinforced, so people don't typically have back problems in that area. And it started because I thought I was having heart attacks. I started getting sharp pains in my chest. And I decided to go to the doctor, because I didn't want to mess around. Heart attacks ain't no joke. You don't want to mess around with that. So
no,
I went, and they ended up telling me that I had, they told me I had degenerative disc disease, and then I think it was the T8 and T12 vertebrae, which are basically right up there where your shoulder blades are. And
I had a brother that had to get those fused.
he told me, he said, unless they get bad enough where it's like starting to cause like paralysis or different things like that, that they don't like to operate on that area, because it's a pretty major procedure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked him, I says, how am I going to know if I'm having a heart attack or not? He said, oh, you won't. I said, that's nice. He said, just keep up with your cardiologist, man. I'm like, dude, that's bad.
The heart is the most important organ in your body.
I know a few people have died really young from heart attacks, man, and it scares the hell out of me. I think it ain't no joke, nothing to mess with.
Nope. That's when they found my heart condition on a flight physical. I got ahead of it. You know what I mean? Got ahead of it, and I've been seeing a cardiologist ever since.
But I'm hoping 2 things I want to do, or 3 things I want to do. It's on my book, is the shocks, the seat, and I think it'll help for me to get a little bit taller bars, because I'm leaning forward a little bit.
Yeah,
something that puts me up just high enough where I can lean back.
That'll help out a lot.
Probably another maybe 2 inches over factory. I'm not trying to, be one of them guys with my hands way up in there. I know a few.
Yeah, we're not 20 years old anymore.
Yeah. I have a hard enough time with my hands wanting to fall asleep on. I'm going. That's and I've been getting cramps to where my hands want to lock up on me.
Yep.
That's not good either. I don't know what the hell's causing that, but my back doctor said if I'm getting spinal compression, that can cause that.
Oof.
So she said I might have to not necessarily give up on riding, but I might have to limit myself to, more local ride, not locals per se, but nothing more than like a couple hours, which kind of sucks. But I'm hoping if I get better shocks, better seat, and the bars, that it'll help lengthen.
Start with the shocks. You will find that it made a world of difference.
I took the Harley Air Ride shocks off already and replaced them with regular spring shocks, and it helped. Yeah. But
the Air Ride shocks are garbage. They're the worst shocks Harley ever came out with.
I got a friend trying to talk me into some shocks that he's got, but you know how it is. He tried to give them to me. He says, "Well, give them to me," in quotations. He says, "I'll go get them. I'll bring them over, and you can put them on where you say, man, that'll really help you out." And I was like, well, probably not. What are you asking for them? And he says, oh, maybe $700-800. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I'll pass.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the suspension technologies are not inexpensive, but they're not as expensive as all the other shocks out on the market. They do carry a lifetime guarantee with the best customer support on the market.
Yeah, that's key. You're getting a set that's got, you get them new, so you have proof of purchase, and if they got a decent warranty to them, then that's the key. Your buddy sells them to you, and they might already be broken. Yeah,
I've been I'm trying to get a pair of Legends shocks that I purchased 2 years ago, warranted yet again for leaking. And the last email I got back, I sent to Legend and it was just a reply to them, undeliverable. They blocked me.
Oh man, I had a company do that to me once. That's a long time ago.
And all I want them to do is warranty their $1,500 shocks.
Yeah, that's what company should never go back to them, or start recommending nobody ever go back to them again.
I don't recommend them in my shop. I don't recommend them on any social media platform, and I share that story with as many people as I can.
Oh, I did have a question for you. I was on your show the other day, and I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about that. Whenever you went to the Virginia tunnel, it seems like
Yes.
it would have been fun for the first 20 minutes or so, but then it seemed like it might have got kind of monotonous and boring. Did it just seem that way? I mean, was it actually
Well,
fun?
yeah, I went to the show going south and northbound. But yeah, it got kind of monotonous because nothing but the tunnels and the bridges and the tunnels and the bridges and But I wanted to grab the different scenes too. Like when you go over, they have that girder bridge. The two tunnels are similar but yet still different. And what's pretty cool is they put those tunnels in so the warships and commercial ships could go in and out of the Chesapeake Bay.
Without looking at a map, how far is that from Fort Eustis area?
About 45 minutes because when I used to take that route all the time when I used to go home for the weekends when I was at Fort Eustis.
That's where my son got married, and that's where they moved to because that's where his boyfriend is stationed at Fort Eustis. But
Yeah, right on.
I looked at a map and tell you what, that Fort Eustis looks like it's nice. It looks like it's got a couple lakes on the base and everything else.
I used to pull some serious catfish out of the waterways right there on Fort Eustis. I'm talking, 6-7 pounders.
Why what is Fort Eustis always been Fort Eustis? That seems like is that one of the ones they renamed?
That's one that they renamed, and I refuse to call it that.
Okay, I was wondering why I'd never heard of it before.
Basically, after every Southern general from the Civil War, base was named after, like Hood, Benning, Bragg, all of them. Fort Lee, it's all been renamed.
Huh.
I will not.
Under some circumstances, I think that's a shame, but
I will. Even though they gave it a decent name, Fort Liberty, but they could have named it after, because Fort Bragg's the home of special operations. Why couldn't they name it after a Medal of Honor recipient from special operations? Why call it Fort Liberty?
I think it's horrible how they want to rename everything. To me, that's like trying to erase history. Even slavery is an unfortunate part of our history, but you can't just erase it and act like it didn't exist. And you can't blame everybody for it either. You know what I mean? It's not my fault. I didn't do it. It's not your fault. You didn't do it. You know what I mean? And also you can't blame all white people for it. And it gets one of the things that irritates me the most about it is they want to down white people, but you know how many white people fought hard to end slavery? So it's at the same time, you're really vilifying white people, and it was a whole lot of white people that helped you out of that.
Well, here's the killer, because I'm a history buff, and Civil War is my favorite time in history. That there were some great Confederate generals, Hood, McLeod, Longstreet, said we should have freed the slaves before we seceded from the nation, because it had nothing to do with slavery. The Civil War had nothing to do with slavery.
Some of it might have started that way, but most people saw it as fighting for their home states, because states meant more to people back then. They're like, people invade my state, I have to feel like I have to fight for my home.
Yeah. When President Lincoln, formed an army to invade Northern Virginia, Virginians were upset because, to simplify it, if you and I joined a gentleman's club, right, and they introduced new rules and regulations on this gentleman's club that you and I didn't agree with, we have the right to just walk away and no longer be a member, right? That's what the Civil War was about, the succession of Virginians being governed by Virginians, not by a president in Washington, D.C.
Right on. Yeah, a lot. I know a lot of people get a bad rap, and just for hey, they fought for the South. Well, it wasn't just that they fought for the South. They saw it as fighting for their homes,
Right.
fight. They wanted to fight for states' rights. That's what they was fighting for more than anything. As hey, we should be able to make up our own mind. We should be able to do this, and you know, if you were for Virginia or you were from Alabama or wherever you're from, you were saying, I need to fight for my home. You know,
Right.
it
Just
wasn't.
like they say, the Confederate flag is a symbol of slavery and oppression of people, which that's not it at all. The Confederate flag was just a battle flag for the Confederate troops to rally behind, besides their own state flag.
Well, I think slavery would have ended up being abolished regardless of the Civil War. Eventually,
Yes.
you know, it's that might have hastened it a bit, but it still would have ended regardless. Slavery was not really a good thing, but as much as I hate to sound like a sympathizer, you have to also understand that those people were raised as that being a norm. That was a norm to them in a daily life. So they didn't. They were. You almost want to say brainwashed to believe that, but still, how is it necessarily somebody's fault when they were raised to think that that's normal and that's right and that's how things were?
Yeah. I mean, you sit there and you look at it, the percentage of Southern homes that had slaves was very, very few. You had to be very well to do to own slaves. In today's money, if you were to buy a slave, it's like buying a large John Deere tractor. You're talking over $150,000 in today's money. And for some of these plantations to have, 10 or 20 slaves, I mean, to go out and buy them, it was a lot of money. Not just buying them, you got to house them, you got to feed them, you got to clothe them.
I've heard that what they tell you now is the almost a dramatization of the worst conditions for slaves, because I heard some of them had it really well.
Some did, and the majority did not. They lived in, buildings without heat. They didn't, they were not well taken care of. I am not, don't get me wrong, I do not support slavery. I think it's an ugly time in our history. But if you try to abolish and wipe out that history is always doomed to repeat itself.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think they got rid of slavery as it was known then.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think the system still has slaves, and we're all slaves.
Yeah. You see it all the time. I mean, what was it, about 10 years ago out in Long Island? A human trafficking ring is nothing but slavery.
Supposedly out west, they're getting a lot of these Chinese crossing the borders to go work in these weed factories, and they're basically slave labor right now going on out west, and nobody's
working off their debt to come here, and that's considered slavery. Any work you do without proper compensation is considered slavery.
But you don't hear too many people raising holy hell about it. They're going after people. Are going after people over the dumbest things right now, in the country. And it's like, if you really want to get behind something to fight for, here's a worthy cause. Fight for that.
Yeah.
Stop fighting for who can use bathrooms and stupid stuff like that.
My employer said to me, he says, hey, we're looking for volunteers to come in and work and blah, blah, blah. And I says, well, I'll come in, but I want to get paid time and a half. Well, we're not authorizing that. I'm like, well, then I'm not coming in. They're like, but we need you. I'm like, well, I believe it was the 8th Amendment of the Constitution where slavery was abolished, and slavery is defined as working without compensation. And they're like, well, it's a little extreme that you say it that way. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I mean, you want me to come in and work, then you will pay me. I will not do an hour for an hour because I'm an hourly employee, and anything over 40 hours is time and a half.
Right. And
so if you want me to work 2 hours, then I'm going to take 3 hours of time off.
I've noticed a lot lately where I work at. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, maybe you or anybody else, but as see, I believe in what I see with my own two eyes. Okay.
Mhm.
And when Trump was president before, not trying to turn it into a giant political debate, but something I've noticed recently is when he was president, I could look around and I could see things were going well. I could feel, to me, things were going better, and there were job signs everywhere, everywhere. And
Mhm.
right now, here, the last 3 or 4 months, I started seeing more people coming into where I work asking for applications than I've seen in a long time. And I think that I kind of think that's a sign of what's going on in the economy.
Well,
People,
not
a
just
lot more
that.
people looking for work.
A lot of people during the beginning of COVID, a lot of people left their jobs because the government was taking care of them. Now that those programs are running out and every employers were begging to hire people and nobody wanted jobs because they're getting taken care of by the government. Now that that program has ended and people don't have money, now they're all looking for jobs, and these jobs have been gone away because if we've been operating without these positions, why keep them so we can continue our operation?
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah.
This microphone's really good. It even picks up me burping. I can turn my head and I don't know what happened to.
So yeah, I mean, it's disgusting that that history is going to repeat itself because they're wiping away. I mean, if you go through Germany, I used to live in Germany for 2 years when I was active duty, and you go around, you see the Tiger tanks where they stopped at World War II. They're still there, and the government keeps up the maintenance on them so they don't rot away and become an eyesore. And I was curious, and I was asking the locals, why do they do that? And they said, well, we do that as a remembrance what not to do again. You
Right.
know?
And the funny thing is some of these guys are tearing down these monuments and they don't even realize some of the monuments and things they're tearing down isn't even have anything to do with what they're tearing them down for. That's just,
Yeah.
there's such a severe lack of education, I think, right now. That's one of the big problems is people don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I have a Bonnie blue flag, right? Which was a proposed United Confederate States flag, which is a blue field with one white star. And I flew it in front of my house for the longest time. And people looked at it and says, "Oh, are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?" No, look up your history, what that flag means. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I did it just to piss people off and teach them that, hey, you need to stop listening to everybody and do your own research and learn what different things mean.
Steve's got a question for you.
Right.
Can you see that?
Heidelberg, I've never been to Heidelberg. I was in Hanau, and then I went to, I went all over. I went to Poland. I visited Auschwitz, best worst decision I made in my life. Been to Luxembourg when I was out there. Hamburg, I went up to Hamburg, which was awesome. Depending on what side of the Rhine you were on, depending the type of night you were going to have.
I heard an interesting story today about Germany. One of my brothers I was riding home in a truck with was telling me, he said, it's really weird when he was in the service. He says, over there in Germany, he says, if you fish over there, he says, you have to check in your fish and they weigh it and you have to pay by the ounce for however many pounds of fish you catch. I said, that's crazy.
That is. Well, I know for a fact, one of my good friends from the service, he hit a cow with a car, destroyed his car and the cow, and he had to pay the farmer at that time like $300,000 for that cow.
Wow.
Because he had to pay for all the milk that cow would have produced, all the meat that cow would have produced, and up to 5 offspring. the milk and meat that cow would have
Yeah.
produced. And if you hit a tree, it's even worse because now you're paying for the tree, the saplings that tree would have produced, the oxygen that tree would have produced. Oh, it's something you don't want to do when you're in Europe, or especially Germany, is hit a cow or a tree.
Mike says the most expensive cow in history.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
300K cost them for that cow.
They got some weird.
And that was back in 1989, just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, they got some weird ways of doing things over there. Supposedly, I've heard they have a lot of people, when they take breaks at work or go down and have a beer for work, it's not uncommon.
No. As a matter of fact, when I was there, we would have 2 hours of quiet time, which means nothing happens for 2 hours. So we'd shut down the airfield, we'd go to lunch, and then have your 2 hours of quiet time and go back, take a nap for 2 hours, and then go back to work for another 3 hours. And that was the end of the day. It was awesome. Midday naps, I'm in.
Yeah, they teach you in school, man, when you're young, take naps. Where'd that go?
Oh, that goes away once you hit the first grade, man. That goes away.
I advocate for we go back to having nap time.
Naps are underrated and underutilized.
Supposedly, what is it? Is it Japan or China or something? If you fall asleep at work or something, it's considered good manners because you must be working so hard that you're tired.
Yeah, I actually applied for a job here in Connecticut. I didn't get the job, unfortunately, but they advocated at least a 45-minute nap every day. But you were working 13, 14-hour days, so they wanted you to, be rested. So they had a room set up just for napping. I was like, man, this is a place I want to work. They promote naps, paid naps. I'm in.
I hear heavy metal's really big over in Germany.
Oh, absolutely.
Why couldn't that catch on more over here?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Rammstein. I really not. To be honest with you, I'm not a real big fan of them.
Who, the band? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hear they're. They was on my list of concerts I wanted to go to just for the fact that I heard they're pretty wild.
That's what I heard too, but I'm not a big fan of their music.
It's hard to really get into music if you can't understand what they're saying. Well,
they like that song Du hast. They say it's all about, I love you, and that doesn't translate to I love you. It's I love you in German is ich liebe dich, where Du hast is I forget what the hast is, but Du is I or we, depending on structure.
They did an English translated version of it on that CD, and they said it meant you hate me, you hate me, or something like that. And then I heard somebody else say that something about that in that song, it's actually a common expression in Germany, and it doesn't even mean what they said it means.
Yeah. It's like what was her name? Nina, when she came out with 99 Loft balloons, right?
Yeah.
Loft is flying in German. So it's 99 flying balloons, not 99 red balloons.
Yeah. The only country I want to go to, I really want to visit. I've always wanted to go over to I'm getting a hell of a cloud in here. I want to go over to see the Highlands in Scotland, but I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else that wants to go?
My
wife says, I've been on a plane once, and I doubt if I'd get. She said she's got some kind of thing where her ears pop from the altitude, and I says, well,
yeah, that's a good thing.
I said they pressurized the planes, so I wouldn't think it would be able to pop like too much.
They do pop, and it's a good thing that they pop because then it's pressure equalization. If your ears don't pop, then you end up with a lot of pain.
Yeah, she said it hurt her when she did it.
Yeah.
But I looked into it, and it's actually not as expensive as what you'd think it would be to go over there. And they have all kinds of, like, if you want to go over for 3 or 4 days, there's like all kinds of cool things. They'll take you on a tour, put you on a little tour bus, take you and explain everything to you and all that. And I think by the time you're done, it was only maybe $4,000 flight
Yeah,
over there,
I was
hotel, everything. And I'm like, that's not as bad as what you'd think it would be.
I was looking
Really
at
not that bad.
doing a Ireland motorcycle tour. They fly you over. You have your pick of an adventure bike, or at the time was a Fat Boy, and you go around Ireland and you stay at medieval B&Bs. Some of them are castles, some of them just houses, and you tour the whole island. And depending on the package, you could take the boat over to Scotland, brings you down into England, which I wanted to do, and then you come back over to Ireland, and then end your trip. The big trip at that time, which was over 10 years ago, was 10 grand per person. I was like, oh man, that sounds like a great trip.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. Only thing I'd have trouble getting used to is being on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. Yep.
They say that it's not uncommon at all for there to be a lot of accidents over there from people not used to it and going on the wrong side of the road. But I hear that it's not every country that does that. I thought like almost everybody except America was the only side that was like mostly right-hand side, but I hear that it's actually only a few countries do the left-hand side.
Yes.
They do over there.
I could tell you in the UAE, Iraq, Afghanistan, it's all right-hand drive. But you'll find some cars that are left-hand drive, but you drive on the right side of the road. Germany, same thing, right side. It's basically any country that was under British rule at any given point in time. That's where you have the you drive on the left side of the road.
I apologize. I'm trying to see what everybody's saying.
Yep.
I need a bigger monitor so I don't have to go like this and squint.
Hey, Straight's running for president in 2020. You're a little late, Straight.
Have you seen that new? I was going to try to bring it up, but it seems to be a little. I sent it to some people, and it's a little hard to find. The new video of Elon Musk's little robots. It is crazy.
Yeah.
They actually have like fully walking robots, and he's got a video of them, and he just has a video of it walking around and talking to people, and it is nuts. I'm like, I really hope that isn't there's a person in the background doing the chatting, or talking, because it was creepy how good a conversation it was.
Well, I mean, hopefully before people start buying into these, hopefully they watch Terminator.
Yeah. That's what that's my first thought.
Or iRobot. Or watch iRobot,
Right. Well, it's only a matter of time before even if they allow robots like that into people's homes or to do work, there's going to be people that start protesting, saying it's not fair to robots, blah blah, it's inhumane.
Not just that. I mean, it's already started. Jobs will be replaced with robots because that's a one-time fee. You don't have to pay insurance or taxes or payroll or none of that.
Elon Musk said it was only the goal he was shooting for is around 30 or 40 grand. And I said, imagine, like, most people, that's about what they make in a year. And if you could put a robot in there that's going to work for 4 or 5 years for the same amount of money that somebody would get paid in 1 year, it's common sense that a company's going to want to try to do that.
Yep. And then the economy will get tanked because nobody's working. Nobody's going to have money.
Yeah. People will try to say, well, then people can like have time to do what they want to do. But where are people going to get money? None of us are going to have money. It takes money. We've got to be able to pay our rents, pay for our houses, you know, and if nobody's
Gas,
working,
hotels, food, all of it.
there's
You
just
know?
there's no way it could work. But I don't see how you stop it. I think it's a Pandora's box. Once they start that shit, I don't think there's any way to really stop it.
No. Once the box is open, you can't close it. You know, it's like everybody's getting on that Cybertruck kick and spending $300,000 on a Cybertruck, but they're not looking at what the maintenance of costs of those things are.
Yeah, I
You
passed
know?
one on the way home today. I was like, look, there's one of them fucking Cybertrucks. Some things they are ugly.
You know what I call them? The ugly child of the DeLorean. DeLorean's ugly child.
Oh, yeah, that's what the guy that was with me said. He said he said there'll be a fad, just like the DeLorean was a fad, and I think that's what he was thinking. Is that's what it looked like too.
Yep. You know, they're hideous. They're bulky. And I've already seen it where a guy had his car towed to a charging port because he ran out of battery life, so he had to get a tow truck to get it charged. And I'm sitting there going, you know, if you had a gas car, you could get off the highway and there's gas stations everywhere, and you don't have to wait hours to recharge your car. I could just go put gas in my car for a few minutes and go a lot further on a tank of gas for less money.
I was at a Nissan dealership getting my truck fixed. My truck's not a Nissan, but it's the dealership where I bought my Ford. It must have been a trade-in, but I was there talking to the lady, and I asked her about hybrid vehicles because I still think hybrid's more the way to go, where it can produce its own electricity and use a combination of electricity and fuel. There might be a little bit more of that's a little bit more where technology should be now. I think the electric vehicle just maybe an idea for the future, but I just don't think technology's there right now. And she says they don't even make a lot of companies quit making hybrids.
Yeah.
I said that is.
Oh, Toyota got out of the electric car. From what I heard, they got out of the electric car manufacturing altogether.
Yeah, they had a few electric vehicles there, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not something I'd ever be interested in. I just don't think technology is quite far enough for electric vehicles, fully electric vehicles. But they've made some recent, pretty decent discoveries. I think we're getting somewhat close, but it's just not there yet.
Well, you know, they have to upgrade the grid to support everybody charging their electric cars. Right now, our grid can't support the electric demand that we have all over this country. Now you're going to add the demand of charging a car?
Yeah, it's bad enough the way it is because they keep trying to go green everywhere. I haven't fully studied the history of it, but they said over in Europe they tried to do the same thing with all their green stuff, and it's really bit them in the ass, and they don't understand why we're not paying any attention to what happened over there, because it come back to bite them, and now they're having all kinds of problems.
One word: leadership, or the lack thereof.
Yeah, that's for sure. The one we have in office now only wants to listen to the people who's going to give him money. That's all he cares about. And I really think that a lot of it has to do with where he got his money from. He got all that money from China, and now he's advocating for a lot of stuff that's all made in China.
Yep.
I don't think enough people have put two and two together to realize that, you know, he's one of the most corrupt human beings to ever be in any office, let alone the president of the United States.
Well, you know, before he was president, he was in, you know, public service for 47 years and did nothing.
Yeah, he's been in office about as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, and people expected him to do great things. I said, what do you mean? He did nothing for 47 years. You think he's going to do something in 4 years? Oh, he did. He made our country worse now than it ever was.
Yeah, people voted Trump in mainly because they were sick and tired of career politicians, and then here we've uh, fake voted in a career politician. I don't think it wasn't necessarily cheating per se, because what they did was manipulate the system to allow them to cheat and to legally cheat.
Yeah.
So can you call it cheating per se if they did it legally? Not really, sort of, kind of. You know,
Well,
I've seen
mail-in
people.
ballots should only be if you were out of town working or you're in the service and you're not home, and that's it.
I don't really have any issue with mail-in ballots per se, but the verification thing where they was trying to make it so you're not allowed to have to verify it or whatever. They was making it so, oh, you have to count it and you're not allowed to question who it come from. I said, that's just crazy.
Yeah. Last election, I got 3 mail-in ballots in the mail sent to me. My wife got 3 sent to her. We could have filled them out and mailed them in, and they would have counted 3 votes for me and 3 votes for my wife. But we have integrity, so we threw them out and we went and voted in person.
I voted in person. I know this year, I think it was Trump saying that he wanted a lot of people to early vote and this and that, but I'm going to vote on election day in person. Here, they check IDs when you go in to vote, and I don't
Same here in Connecticut.
I
And
don't
I had on my
understand
pistol permit.
why they're trying to make that illegal, to force people to be ID'd to vote. It says right in the Constitution, for God's sakes, and I think it's Amendment 14 or something like that. I looked it up the other day and read it, and it is specifically forbidden for non-citizens to vote. And if it's in there that says that, then there should be no reason why you require people to prove that they're a citizen. It doesn't make any sense, and how they could ever say that it's anything but them trying to cheat is beyond me, because why else would you, what other reason could you possibly have other than wanting to cheat, to put in laws in place so they don't have to verify? That to me is just crazy. They should get in trouble. They should get arrested for conspiracy to commit voter fraud.
Well, I mean, who's going to put them in jail? Themselves? No.
Right. That's the same thing I always said about I always thought it was crazy that they vote for their own pay raises. Who would ever say no to that?
Yeah.
You know, if I could vote for my own pay raises, damn right I'm getting a raise. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's nuts that they ever made that a thing where they get to basically decide how much they get paid. That's crazy. There's some ding dong rules in this country.
Congressmen and senators originally were set up where if you were elected into that position, you still worked your regular job. And when you were called to vote on something, you would get paid a per diem. It was never meant to be a career.
Right. I forget who it was that said if anybody gets rich in public service, then it's not. Then they must be corrupt or whatever, because it's not. You never meant to make people rich, and they all do. They all get rich from it.
Yeah, they all, they all walk in there with a little bit of money in the bank, and they walk out multimillionaires after one term.
I forget what it was. I looked it up at one point in time. I think it was senators get paid like $195,000 a year or something like that, and in the House of Representatives, it's a little bit less. I think it was 165,000 or something like that.
Yep.
But in the House of Representatives, I forget the exact number, but there's something like 600 or 700 representatives. And can you imagine, just without doing the math, 165,000 times like 500, 600 representatives? How much that's actually costing the American taxpayer every year for a bunch of guys that don't even want to do their jobs most of the time?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're going to shut down.
And that doesn't include they're given an allowance for staff. You know what I mean? To hire staff, and then all the money they get from other places. And
Yep.
I forget what it was. I originally thought if they get voted into office one time, that it was a lifetime pay, but it's
They get a lifetime pension. I had to
they,
serve 20 years to get a pension from the military. They go serve 4 years and they get a pension for life.
it turns out it's actually I think it's 8 years. If they're in it for 2 terms, it's automatically life that they get paid. If they're in 1 year, they get a portion, but they still get lifetime pay, but it's only a portion
Yeah.
of what their salary would be or something like that. But still, there's no place else on the planet that you get paid like that.
Nope.
I'd like to see a number what the the taxpayers are paying for just government not all government employees, but just the Senate and the House reps, the president. This is how much money between current and past reps and senators, how much money is actually going out in that alone. I'll bet you that's a absolute ton of money.
Well, I can tell you, with Trump in office for 4 years, we only paid him $4 for 4 years of service. He was the only president to walk into office and lose net worth by the time he left office.
If I'm not mistaken, he said that he didn't have the choice to like say no to it, but he donated it all back.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
They kept $1 of it and donated it back to the country.
Yeah, that's I don't understand why people say all these horrible things about him, because from what I understand, everybody that's ever actually met him, knew him, and wasn't like fired by him. Those are the ones that usually are disgruntled, the ones that are getting fired by him. But everybody that knows him personally say he's absolutely nothing like they try to make him out to be. He's actually a pretty good dude. I mean, he's a little bit of what you'd expect him to be for a rich guy, you know what I mean? But he's
Hell, if I had his money, I'd be a Playboy billionaire myself, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't think it's had a big a deal what the kind of things he did when he was younger, because hell, most of us would have done that kind of stuff. I'd have probably been worse, far worse. But yeah, it's creeping up on us, isn't it? It's coming here in what, 3 weeks or something? Time to vote?
Yep.
November 5th. I mean, it's my birthday's coming up here in about 2 weeks. I'll be 48.
Happy birthday, young man. Happy birthday, young man.
I think I'm aging fairly gracefully.
Well, you know, I always say bikers never go gray, man. We always go chrome.
Yeah, chrome don't get you home though.
No, but it helps you get laid. So I've been told.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. I wouldn't claim to anyway.
Can't confirm nor deny.
My old lady's a biker too, and I like messing with her. I would say, yeah, you just love my bike. That's all. It's not me.
Yep. Yep.
I bought her own bike though. She got the little 07 1200 Sportster. She loves it.
Right on.
The only thing is it bothers me is I took it for a ride, and whoever had it before me or before we owned it, put the Burley slammer shocks or whatever on it, and as big as I am, I can't ride it because every time I hit a bump, it almost kills me.
It's a rigid then.
Yeah, it hurts. For her weight, she's so much smaller than me. She loves it, and it works good for her. But that's her thing. I don't know. I rode it the one day she was drinking out back here. I still think it's funny. We was out back here, and she was drinking, and the bike was parked out front, and she goes, "Will you move my bike around back?" I said, "All you have to do is go whoop down the driveway. How it's not like you're really drinking and driving. You're just pulling it in the garage, for crying out loud." "Well, I'd rather not do it." And I got my car sitting in the driveway, so I had to go around the cars. And as soon as I started going a little too fast. I went for the brakes. Well, in the grass, you got to hit the back brake a little bit, because if you hit the front brake, you're slamming it down. And I went for the back brake, and the pegs were up. So I went for it, and I went, oh shit, and I couldn't hit the brake. So I hit the front brake, and I did just that. I went, bam, down. I laid her bike down in the yard.
Hey, HardWire, I got a bounce, man. I got somebody here with a stack of cash they want to give me for parts that I ordered. So I got a bounce, man. I like stacks of cash.
Are you sharing?
No, these are paying for parts. He's going to pay the balance of his bill when his bike's done.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Doc.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. See you later.
Hey, have a good one.
Well, everybody, it was a wonderful time seeing you. Wonderful time talking to you. Thank you, Doc, for stopping in. I really appreciate it. And until next week, I'll see you in Mike's room. See Wednesdays at 8:30 for Straight Jacket Show. And I love you all, and I will see you next week.
Hittin' it with HardWire, we're burning it bright. Living on the edge, we'll ride through the night. No fear in our hearts, just the roar of the steel. Together we rise, now this life feels real. Yeah, tell a new path on that twisted black line. A YouTube dream where his past can't confine. With every rev, he's reclaiming his soul, teaching the world how to ride, how to roll. Rising up high when the shadows surround. HardWire's the name, and he's making it loud. Hittin' it with hard.